I gotta tell you, when I brought up the whole P. Diddy raid the other day, I had no idea how big this was. I don't really know much about Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy, whatever you want to call him. I just know the first time I ever saw his face, I didn't like him. Something about he's got a swarmy face. I think we can all agree on that. Except the women who slept with him. But then, probably after the fact, they still think that. I knew there were some suits filed against him, but I did not know at least 3 women and 1 guy have filed civil suits. And people are like, well, why are they doing it right now? Well, there's an act that is coming, like their window of being able to file is coming to an end. I think it's called the Victim Protective Act or something along that line. It's in New York. So these women and men have a threshold to be able to file before they're not able to. So that's why you're seeing a lot of them come up now. But also, as a woman who has been assaulted, I gotta tell you, nobody wants to talk about it. No one wants to bring it up. You don't want to think about it. You want to think that this never happened. You want it to be so in your past. You want to smush it down and forget it. And no one wants to be the first. No one wants to be the first person to come out and say, oh yeah, this happened. One, you're gonna have people like they are right now saying that they're just in it for a payday. You're gonna have people coming out humiliating you. You've already been humiliated when the person assaulted you. Now you're having to relive it all over again. And, they're being called liars. That they're just seeing an opportunity for a payday. And I'll tell you why I believe they're doing a civil instead of a criminal. It's less proof you need to file a civil and win. But the person will definitely pay, at least monetarily, if not prison time. And with them bringing up details they brought up, it does lend credence to this sex trafficking claim and the raid that Homeland Security did earlier this week. So, this guy, Little Rod Jones is his name. He says he has video and photographic evidence of these parties where P. Diddy would put him up to procuring sex workers and even hitting him up to have sex. Evidently, P. Diddy, it sounds like, plays for both sides of the team, which I don't doubt. So there's videos that could be distributed of underage, basically kids, underage people having sex. That could be a reason that there was such a rush to this raid. And because they wanted to gather evidence before anything could possibly be destroyed. I mean, there's a good chance he was tipped off about these raids. So you want to get in there and get the evidence before anyone's had a chance to do anything with it. Now, the raid, it could be that it's gathering evidence. An arrest or an arraignment could come later. They don't have to arrest anybody right now. They're trying to build a case for it to be able to make sure they can put that fucker away. Do I think he did it? Yeah. And it's funny because all his friends, boy, you don't hear anybody tweaking about him right now. And he's evidently, people are being Little Rod Jones is calling out people like Cuba Gooding Jr. was at these places and involved and this, that, and the other. So the Cassie case, civil suit, like I said, that act is expiring soon, so that's why they're having to act right now. But not only, do we have some celebrities, his sons were evidently involved in some of this. You're talking, he would put people up to holding and carrying weapons for him and drugs with the one guy I told you about. None of this surprises me. They write songs about doing this shit. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it's really happening in real life. So some of the evidence for the criminal case could come up as evidence for the civil cases. And Homeland Security is involved. This isn't the FBI. This is Homeland Security, which tells you this could involve multiple states, possibly multiple countries. And may I say, wow, Cat Williams, people owe you an apology because you called this shit out multiple times. So that interview he had a few months back, that 3-hour-long interview, this is one of the people he called out was P. Diddy. He said something to the effect of, I turned down millions of dollars because you gotta tell Diddy no. Wow. So dude knew, and everybody made fun of Cat Williams. But man, a lot of things he's saying is coming to light as being the truth. Now, like I said, not a lot of his friends are coming out in support. And you would think, if he was really innocent, all these celebrities that were at the parties, you would think they would come forward to his aid and say, look, I was there. That didn't happen. I've not heard one single celebrity defend him or say that all these allegations are false. I've not heard it. Maybe you have. I have not. But there are some celebrities that have no love lost for P. Diddy. Suge Knight in jail, he is basically dropping some truths about P. Diddy. He believes 100% that he did this stuff. And 50 Cent, listening to all the stuff 50 Cent's saying is so interesting. So he's being accused of trafficking people, weapons charges. Like I said, he allegedly had people hold weapons for him. He gave drugs to women, underage kids, and he kept them quiet by intimidating these people with violence. And it's proven it. Like, there was one woman that came forward and said, yeah, he shot me in the face. And other women are coming forward saying, yeah, I did not feel safe. He did this, he did that. And why such a massive, horrific raid? I mean, we're talking military-style raid, and people are like, that's overkill. Well, boy has a history of violence and threats. And secondly, he's known to have weapons. They don't know what they're walking in on. So for their own safety, they have to assume the worst for their safety and for the safety of anyone that may be in that home. So that's, in my opinion, why they did what they did. And people are like, well, he could just run off to another country. I don't think there's any country that's going to take him. And if he did, they're not going to even let him land. But if they did, he'd probably be extradited back to the U.S. And I love hearing about the lawyers. Let me see if I can pull up what some of the lawyers have said. Okay. This is Diddy's lawyer. Yesterday, I guess talking about the raid, yesterday there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. This is Aaron Dyer, P. Diddy's attorney. Pardon my nose. He says, Mr. Combs was never detained, but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. Despite media speculation, neither Mr. Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has their ability to travel been restricted in any way. This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced, coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt. I swear to God, it makes me crazy. Everybody that uses the word witch hunt is guilty. It's, okay, going back, witch hunt, based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There's been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. Well, yeah, he's not been found because the court case hasn't happened yet. And to me, people are like, well, he's settled just to stay out of the media, just to get this over with so his family can move on. And I'm not saying, if people sometimes do settle that have no guilt, that didn't do. But, I don't know. So, Brendan Paul, the mule that did get arrested, his lawyer says, we do not plan on trying this case in the media. All issues will be dealt with in court. Well, at least that guy's going to have to go to court. Hilarious. All right, and then, okay, Cassie Ventura. That's one of the ones that's accusing him. Says the attorney says, "We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct." Again, do I think he did it? Yeah, I sure do. Okay, here's 50 Cent. Again, I think I know the one song 50 Cent does, but he's hilarious, I think. And okay, here's what 50 Cent says. "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50, I agree. I totally agree. All right, and then, oh my God. Okay, and I'm not sure who Sean's talking about. I don't know if this is who this chick is. Her name, it's not coming up, but Sean says, "She wasn't the same person I signed, that fame has changed her." Well, that could be said about you. Okay, so I guess that's Aubrey O'Day. She says, "What you saw, you shall reap. I pray this emboldens all of you as victims to finally speak on what we have endured." Good for you. Good for you. I think these men do need to be held accountable. Oh my God. So, they're just like, it's crazy. So you got this chick, the Cassandra Ventura. She says, "After years in silence and darkness, I am finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships." She goes on to say, "With the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act," that's the name of it, Adult Survivors Act, fast approaching, it became clear that this was an opportunity to speak up about the trauma I have experienced and that I will be recovering from for the rest of my life. That's true. Let me tell you, like I said, I've been assaulted. And that's just something I mean, the first thing a woman feels is like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe, you blame yourself instead of the predator that did this. She goes on to say, Cassandra Ventura, "I've decided to resolve this matter amicably, God, I can't speak today, amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support." So she is the one that settled with him, but she's one of the first cases to come up. And Diddy says the same thing. "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best love." I bet you do. All right. Here's Ben Braffman, Combs' attorney. "Just so we're clear," I don't know why I'm making him sound like that, but he sounds like that in my head. "Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Mrs. Ventura the best." Man, sometimes you just want to punch a lawyer in the face. So this is not to be confused with, some people are like bringing up the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. You're talking two totally different scenarios here. I love that Johnny went ahead and said, "You know what? No, I'm not settling. I'm clearing my name." And honestly, I'm a big supporter of anyone who has been abused. In this case, I feel like Amber, big fucking, she was a money grubber and a liar. In this case, totally think Sean did this. Okay, Combs' spokesperson. "This last-minute lawsuit is an example of how a well-intentioned law can be turned on its head. Ms. Dickerson's 32-year-old story is made up and not credible. Mr. Combs never assaulted her, and she implicates companies that did not exist. This is purely a money grab and nothing more." All right, so with this being said, in some of these lawsuits, they're bringing up like record companies and other people because Sean was a representative of those organizations when he was dealing with said people. So in some ways, they could possibly be held liable as much as Combs is, from what I'm reading. Oh my God, it's just, and again, that's the thing, like, they come out and they say everything to make the victim look like they're the liar, look like they're the bad person. So the same spokesperson goes, the New York legislature surely did not intend or expect the Adult Survivors Act to be exploited by scammers. The public should be skeptical and not rush to accept these bogus allegations. Let me tell you, I don't think anybody that brings anything like this to court is doing it lightly, because you're getting so much hate and scrutiny as a victim. They almost make it look like Sean is the victim, and it's infuriating. That is one of the reasons so many women don't come forward, and men don't come forward when they've been a victim of sexual abuse. All right, so we talk about Lil Rod Jones. So he's the guy that says, oh wait, you think these women are lying? Needle going across the record. I got proof. So, Jones' complaint against Combs. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer on the Love album. Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to record him constantly. On several occasions, Mr. Combs took Mr. Jones' cell phone and began recording himself. As a result, Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious legal activity. Boom. And that's going to be hard to take out of context. And some of these pictures, stills that they're showing, it's like one, some of it's compromising, but some of it leads credence to what dude's saying. Pardon my nose again. So some of these pictures, like some of them are like an unidentified person, Meek Mill on Twitter. Oh my God. So this guy says, every, in parentheses, black blog site enhanced that post to make me seem gay. I changed laws for our people. I donated millions. They are designed to destroy the image of black leaders. I can't work with me. It can't work with me, though. You gotta really kill me, and I still will get bigger after death. This God, not me. Oh, fuck. I fucking learn to speak, people. Honestly to God. Meek Mill, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you're annoying. Alright. Okay, so here's Andrew Tate. I don't know who he is either. He says, so P. Diddy was having sex with Meek Mill and Usher? Ooh, I only ask a question because everyone is saying it happened. It's true or not? Question mark. Oh my. Okay, so here's Usher during a Howard Stern interview. Usher says, I got a chance to see some things. I went there to see the lifestyle and I saw it. It was pretty wild. It was crazy. They called me Baby Boo. He wasn't disciplinary. He was letting me be a young man. I'll always look at him like a brother. Okay, so, for a while when he was starting his career, I guess P. Diddy took him under his wing or whatever. But when asked, would Usher let his kids be in that environment, he was like, oh, hell no. So, funny. And they keep showing this picture of Cuba Gooding Jr., and I'm like, oh, man, I really like him. I hope that's not true, but come on. So, Jones's complaint against Combs, forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. It goes on to say, on or about February 7th, 2023 incident, Mr. Jones believes Mr. Combs drugged him. Mr. Jones recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He was in bed with 2 sex workers and Mr. Combs. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. Do I believe it happened? Yeah, I totally do. So, Jones's complaint continues. As part of Mr. Jones's sex worker recruitment tools, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it to booby trap on the river, which I guess is a bar or whatever, as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and he had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face and inform Mr. Jones that he is willing to kill his mother, Janice Combs, if he must in order to get what he wants, so he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. You know, if something seems a little too crazy, it's usually true. Do I think Combs didn't set all this? Yeah. Do I think Little Rod is being truthful? Yeah. I absolutely do. Okay. So, Sean Hawley, Combs' attorney. That guy's got to have like 50 attorneys. I guess when you got that kind of money, you can get it and you need it. Okay, the attorney says he is shamelessly looking for an undeserved payday. His reckless name-dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not happen is nothing more than a transparent attempt to garner headlines. So this is him talking about Lil Rod. And so the attorney goes on to say, we have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies. Our attempts to share this proof with Mr. Jones' attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all the appropriate actions against those who make them. I think P. Diddy's feet have been put to the fire, and now he's scrambling, knowing that shit could be going down. So 50 Cent. I love that he's calling dude out. It's hilarious. Okay, they've been feud never get evidently since 2007, after Diddy suggested that Combs was involved in the killing of Notorious B.I.G. I think we can all agree that probably happened. Okay, so, like I said, all of this, now it's not Diddy did it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case. So that's what 50 Cent wrote on Twitter, aka X. Oh my God. So, it gets even better. So, 50 Cent posted a photo of a milk carton that had where they had the missing child on it back in the day, but there's a picture of Jay-Z. And it says, anybody seen Jay? LOL. Puff said the ain't answer the phone. I don't know what that, I can't know. But that's hilarious. Yeah, I can't read some of their writing, but yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's like a milk carton with Jay-Z. Yeah, like I said, ain't nobody coming to his aid right now. I'm not hearing anybody say, I was there, that didn't happen. Any of that. So the plot thickens, and I'm very anxious to see what's going on. He was seen a few days ago in Miami at a Top Golf with his twin daughters. So he's trying to act like, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. It's all fine. But I can't wait for when the hammer falls down. He's got to lose at least one of these criminal cases. And I cannot wait to see the proof that Lil Rod Jones has, because I feel like Diddy probably did make him record everything, thinking it would not see the light of day because he had this power of persuasion. I'm using persuasion when I really mean a beatdown. And I don't think he thought anybody would ever step to him. And now that someone has, I think he's shitting himself a wee little bit. And again, man, that raid was hardcore. But like I said, it kind of had to be, because one, you're involving underage people. You're involving someone who is known for violence and making threats, and someone that is known to have weapons either on him or near him. So they had to take precautions. You got to keep people safe. So hopefully it could take a while for an indictment to happen. It could happen quick. Who knows? We don't know what Homeland Security is going to be like, but I think they're going to make sure they got all their ducks in a row before they lay the hammer down. So it's going to be interesting next few weeks to see what happens. So stick with me and we will watch with bated breath. Thank you for listening to the Laugh or Cry podcast.